Okay, guys. Hi, Matthias. Hi, Massimo. Welcome to this session. Welcome to the new Fractal FM9 user, and also not you, the other Fractal users, of course. AXFX3. This is an English session. I already done this session in Italian. How to start with FM9, but of course, also my Italian friends can put the questions, any question you need, because okay, I will like to share with you some information regarding important website where you find some very important info. I can share with you how to start with your unit FM9, and of course you can be free to do any questions regarding this amazing new unit. So let's start, guys. So let's start for the first to analyze the most important website you have to consider. I will put the link of the website on the description of this video. Sorry. So how to start? Okay, let me check. First of all, thank you so much to G66. The G66 also put the logo here. And I will start with the G66 website. It is really important for the European and non-European users that use the Fractal devices. G66 is the exclusive distributor for the European, but it's not only the website, but you can get very, very interesting information regarding your Fractal unit. So you can navigate in the website, for example, starting from the FM9, because this is the main topic of this session. When you enter in the FM9 products, you have some videos regarding the products, some information, but what is really important is this section where you can get videos, and also you can go to the download section. It is really, really important. On the download section, you can get the last firmware available. Now is the firmware 3.0. You can download the factory presets, because it's very important that factory presets is related to the firmware. Sometimes when the firmware changes between, for example, version 2 to version 3, it is also important to have the new factory presets because they show the newest features of the firmware, new algorithm, new effects, and so on. So it's really important. For the also there is a possibility to download the USB firmware drives. This firmware drives is related to the units itself. So it's also important to verify what is your latest firmware version for the USB. I mean, the USB drives on the FM9 unit is different on the driver for the Windows, for example. Like here, you can see here the FM9 Windows USB drives. They are two different things. This USB firmware is related to the unit, so you have to upgrade FM9 with this firmware. It's the same way of the operative firmware. The drives related to the Windows is completely different. This drives is necessary if you have Windows operative system and you have to communicate with FM9. If you don't install the drives, you cannot communicate with the drives. Okay. So depending of the now I am selecting the French website, but I can select the English one. Sorry. Okay. So really important for the FM9 is the owner manual. The owner manual that explain all functionality of the FM9. It is mandatory to read the manual. Absolutely. You cannot forget to read the manual. Absolutely. And it is important the Fractal audio block guides, because the manual itself regarding the general operative system, the Fractal audio blocks guide, it is the explanation of the single block, like delay, amp, reverbs, drives, and so on. Okay, so there are two different manuals, and another manual is related to the foot switch. So it is really important to understand how to work with the foot switch of your unit, because Fractal devices has a really interesting and flexible programming foot switch that let you to set your pedal board as you want. You can change the preset, you can change the scenes, you can bypass your effects, you can recall some banks, some layouts, and so on and so on. You can do every kind of functionality with any foot switch. Any foot switch has its own programming system, so you are totally free to create some layouts. You have up to 9 layouts. Layout means the configurations of your pedal board. So you can have a layout for the presets, when you can recall presets from number 1 to number 9, for example, and 8. Or you can have a layout to recall the scenes within a preset. You have a layout to recall the effects, to bypass drive and delay and so on. But also you can completely customize your pedal board to create your own layout, very, very useful with a very flexible way. Ciao Marco. And the last manual is related to the FractalBot manual. FractalBot is a utility that you can download as a standalone version, but you can have the FractalBot utility embedded on the FM9 editor. The FM9 that is also very important to download. Okay, FractalBot is necessary to mainly to upgrade the firmware. Then you can also make the backup of the unit. You can upload some presets and so on. But for the presets, I suggest you to use the editor itself. There are the preset import or export functionality. While about the firmware upgrade or firmware or USB upgrade or some other upgrades is necessary to use the FractalBot. And FractalBot is absolutely necessary to create the backup of your version. Don't forget that electronic is not, how can I say, unbreakable. I don't know if it is correct, but any kind of electronic system or any kind of smart device, you can have a problem. So it is really important you understand to back up your unit before to do anything, especially when you install new firmware or you do something particular, and periodically it's also necessary to back up your unit. Don't forget this, because typically you learn to back up your unit when you lose your preset. It's typical situation when you because can occur every kind of situation. For example, this FM9 could be wrong, or someone can grab your unit, or you forgot the unit at home, and so on. But it is really important to make the backup as usual. So another important section is the FM Edit, is the wonderful editor, software editor, available for Mac and OS. Remember, when you install a new firmware, you need the last editor. Otherwise, you can't use the new firmware functionality in your system. This is pretty normal for the people who is useful and who is confident with the IT, with the information technology. But sometimes I receive some requests of support from people that download the firmware, upgrade the firmware, but forget to upgrade also the editor. Editor and firmware are upgraded together. Okay, this is pretty clear to understand. And also it is very important, the presets. You have the MF, my presets available. Okay, so you have amazing factory preset in your unit, but you can also download my factory presets. Okay, and also there are the tutorials. On the tutorial you can find many videos, many videos also in my playlist when I explain how to use the Fractal device. So please take care about g66.eu website, where you can find any kind of informations. Okay. Another important website is the Wiki Fractal. Wiki Fractal is the holy Bible of Fractal devices, where you can find any kind of information constantly upgraded by the users, by Fractal. So, for example, you can find the amp model list. So you have all the list of the Fractal models, okay, with description and so on. You have the cabinet list. You have any kind of explanation. You can have the manuals. You can have the last firmware, and also you can have the EX guide about the amp model and the drive. I suggest you to check these guides, because it is really nice and help you to understand, not only for the digital model but also for the analog device, analog amplifier, the functionality. For example, the 59 bass guy Fender, if you click here, you have the story of the very famous Fender Bassman 59 with some very important information, because I continue to repeat that to have the best knowledge on the digital model, you have to have the best knowledge also with the analog system. There is no change. There is no difference between these two worlds. It's not completely different. If you don't have confidence, you are not confident with the analog world, is you continue to have you are not confident with the digital world. It is absolutely the same. So it's really important to understand how the real amp works, because the model itself works in the same way. Okay, so this, I suggest you to download this EX guide and read the information regarding your favorite amp. It's really important. And as you can see here, you can have any kind of explanation of the Fractal. Ciao Filippo, of the Fractal world. Okay. Another really important, very important website you have to mark up, it is the Fractal Audio System forum. In the Fractal Audio System, there is the best knowledge of the Fractal device. It is owned by Fractal guys, starting from the mega boss Cliff Chase, Matt Piccone, and all the staff from Fractal. So on the forum, you can get the news and the last information regarding the Fractal device. For example, you can find the beta version. I know that there are some beta version of it. Okay, for example, here yesterday was released the beta version of the new beta version for the AXFX 3 firmware version 20.05. So you have the possibility to download the beta version, install it, and participate to the beta tester team. Of course, don't forget to back up your unit before to upgrade the firmware, especially when the new firmware is a beta version. Typically, the beta version, let's say, works 80% in perfectly, but in any case, is if you have some live gigs or some studio gigs and so on, is a very strong recommendation. Don't upgrade your unit because you don't know, and Fractal can't be responsible if you upgrade your unit with the beta version. You have problem. So please mind the gap as usual about this issue. If you install a beta version, you are responsible yourself about the functionality of the sim. You cannot claim anything. You cannot complain nothing about, okay, I installed a beta version, there is a problem, this and that, and so on. So it doesn't work. Okay, but it is a greatest opportunity because sometimes with the beta version, you can get some new functionality, really, really interesting. And the forum is divided by the unit AXFX3, FM9, FM3. There is the FC controllers, the Fractal software, general topics, off topics, of course, the launch and so on, the classifieds, legacy products, and also I have the beta testing forum because I am on the beta tester team. So please don't forget to use this amazing forum. And last but not least, I recommend you to use my YouTube channel, also the G66 channel. On my YouTube channel, you can go to the playlist. Okay, this is my YouTube channel. And if you go to the playlist, you can find the playlist dedicated to the Fractal, Fractal FM9, Fractal School, and so on. And so very, very important information. So you have a lot of tutorials that I published and I released to explain the functionality. Some tutorials are in Italian, some tutorials are in English. But if you see the Italian tutorial and you are interested in that, don't forget to activate the automatic translation subtitle. It's really easy. You can go to the settings of the video, enable this subtitles, and also create recall your language, and you can follow the tutorial in your favorite language with your subtitle. Very useful. Okay. If you have any question, otherwise I can continue with the editor. When you install the editor, sorry, I recall this is the FM9 editor. Okay, first of all, I suggest you to navigate through the amazing factory preset you have available. Factory preset for Fractal is made by the guitar player, professional guitar player. So the factory presets are really is ready to use, I can say. It's not made only to test something special and that's and this and that. It are made by the guitar player, and so they are really useful. So you can start with these presets to check what is the sound you prefer and create your own sound. Don't forget that any preset is not only one single preset, but any preset contains 8 scenes. So now I can recall the presets up to, I don't remember, 511 presets, but you have up to the factory are preset are finished to the 383. From 384 you have the user preset where you can install your single presets, but I highlight that within a preset you have not only a preset, but you have several scenes. You have 8 scenes for any preset. What is the scene? Scene, it is the status of the blocks in the presets. You can decide scenes 1, for example, with you can hear the list of the scene 1. Crunch bright. Crunch bright means, for example, the amp channel A. It is let's say a shot of the situation of this preset. It's not different. It's not different preset. It's the same preset but with different status. Another functionality, for example, the cranked bright. It seems the same, but as you can see here, I recall the channel B of the amp. The previous one recall the channel A. If I can recall the scene also in this pad. The scene number 3, it is also the channel G of the amp, C, sorry. And also I can switch on the delay, the reverb, or I can also with the scene 5 switch on the rotary and so on. So don't forget to test not only the preset as it is, but also the 8 scenes within the presets. And as you can see here, all 8 scenes are sometimes as a number. Here it is a number of the presets, and here it is a number of the name. Sorry, the name of the scenes. I can show you what is the difference. As you can see, I am the preset 0. You can see here the 59 bass guide, but scene number 1, for example, it is crunch bright. Scene number 2. It is the same amp but different channel. As you can see here in these scenes, I have channel 2 in this. Sorry, channel B. In this scene number 1, I have the channel A. With different settings of the bright gain, normal gain, and bass, mid, and so on. So the scene number 3 is also different. Okay. Another important thing is when you recall the presets, for example, you can see Plexi 50, what is the name of or A class 15, what does mean A class 15? Remember the Wiki Fractal, because you have to consider that for the copyright reason is not possible to represent the name, the real name of some famous amplifier like Vox, like Fender, like Marshall, and so on. So you can go to the amplifier model list. Okay. You can type, for example, the preset. It is okay, A class 15. A class 15. I search here A class 15. A class Okay, I don't find anything because it's not in this section, but it is in the class A class. Where is it? Class. I don't find A class. Okay, it's not A class 15. Oh, let me check what is the name of the presets. The name of the amp. Sorry, this class A. Sorry, because the name of the preset is in class A15. Sorry, this is the reason that I don't find class 8 class. Okay, 15 top booster. So I can go here, and there is the explanation of this amp. Top boost, channel, cab, and so on and so on. So you can find the relation by the name and the real amp. Okay. Even in this case, you can, if you click on the metrics here, you can have the list of all the scenes. You can select also here. And you can continue to select the preset, for example, presets like Friedman B100. It is, you have 6 scenes in this case. Okay, and you can continue to select different presets. For example, I don't know, JR Blues. Okay. Okay. Well, the editor is really easy to use. You have here the tools related to the presets. You can clear, you can save, you can export, import preset. Please don't use FractalBot to install any presets. Okay, use the import presets or export. You have 2 different export. The standard one, export preset, or export preset PuCab bundle. The export preset PuCab bundle let you to export the presets with the input, the custom input response. If you use the external input response instead to use the factory one, you can use the export preset cab bundle to export a preset. The preset is named by .fuzz bundle presets. Is a different name when you have also the impulse response installed. Typically, for example, my preset in my store are most of the case are created with the fast bundled preset because I use custom impulse responses. Okay. From on the tool you can get the FractalBot, for example, and from the FractalBot you can when you select FractalBot, or you can install the standalone version. If everything is okay, the FractalBot say you what is the version of the FM9. Now I am testing the 3.01 beta version, so it's not yet available. I am testing. And also you can send a file like a new firmware, or you can receive and it is really important because when you receive, you can select the browser where you can, when you want to store the material. But when you select the begin, for example, you can back up your unit, and you can decide to back up everything. Okay, select all, or for example, only singular preset bank, or the system configuration and global blocks and FC configuration, or you can backup individual presets and so on. Okay, I like to show you how it's possible to create new presets starting from zero. After the preset 384, you have the empty area like this. Now I have some of my presets, but typically the last one is the 383. Okay, you can select a new location where there is nothing. As you can see, you have your matrix. Your matrix is a matrix 6 by 20 blocks, and you can start to realize your rig. How can do this? You can use different mode. I like this mode, quick build. If you select quick build, you have the list of the blocks available. For example, starting from the input, okay, input 1, I drag and drop the input 1 in a string left positions. Now I select the amp 1, okay. The cabinet is also necessary, and the output is also necessary. The output 1. You have 3 outputs, 3 inputs available on FM9. So if to connect the blocks together, you go to the block here. As you can see, you have this square where there is the output link, okay, and where you can connect. When you click on this link, this matrix open and show you the possibility to connect this link to any block here. So if I want to connect to the amp, I click on the amp here, and it realizes this connection. I can also do different. If I delete, I can select. I can delete here with the delete keys. It is also possible to create a single line between the input 1. I can connect the output 1, and automatically I create a long wire that connected the input to the output. I don't know in this moment with which amp. It is the JR Blues, for example, the Fender Junior Blues, and the cabinet is okay, the factory one. Let's check how does it work. Very dry sound. So, for example, I started to place the reverb here. Okay. If I wanted to change the reverb, I go to the type here and I select different one. For example, some plate is really nice. So let's try different kind of amp here. If I wanted to change the amp, I go to the type and I can have the possibility to recall up to 299 different amps. For example, let's select the typical Marshall GCM 800 here. Okay. And also it is important to reset the block to start from the default parameter, because sometimes this editor bring the last settings of the preset of the amp. So I suggest you, when you create a new preset, to select the amp and then click on block and reset current channel. Okay, so it recover the default parameter. So, and also it is really important that you understand in any block you have 4 different channels. What that does mean? Any channel is a different algorithm or different models, different delay, different chorus within the same block. So in a single block you have 4 possibilities, 4 channels you can select, okay, in a different way to recall different amp, different delays, different chords, different drive, and so on. The channels are also stored in the scenes, so you can have the scene number 1 that uses the channel A, scene number 2 that use the channel B, and so on. And this is really nice and extend a lot the powerful of the system. So let's select the typical the GCM 800, okay, Brit 800 for example, okay. Already you have different channel, sorry. Oh, okay, now it's okay. And it's also important to select the proper cabinet, because from default it uses the 1x4 inch pig nose 57. It is a really small cabinet, and is not let's say the proper cabinet for this amp. So click on the picker. On the picker you have the list of 2048 different cabinet, different input response of the cabinet you can select. How can you select so many cabinets? You can use the logic itself. So if you know from the Fractal, Wiki Fractal, I come back here. Go to the home page. You have also the cabinet model list, okay, and you have an overview of all the cabinet installed in the Fractal Unique. And this is really important to understand which cabinet is related to some name. For example, blah blah blah, I don't know, the 1x12 Carol N. Okay, this is the name of the cabinet. It is a single speaker, 12 inch, from the Carol N amplifier with 57 microphone, that's SM57, in the G position. What does mean G position? I don't know, because it depends of the impulse response manufacturer that add the variant of the impulse response, because you have the cabinet, you have different microphone, but also you have different position of the microphone respected to the cone. You can have the microphone in the center, on the cap edge, on the border, in the middle, tilted, and so on and so on. So you have to try different options. Typically, the logic, what is the logic? You have to follow the logic. So the logic tells me, let's come back. I need the 4x12 cabinet, for example. The list is empty because I have to select the factory 2, or you can have the all banks. With all banks, I have the list of all amplifiers. And now I have the list of available 4x12. This means the cabinet 4x12 inch. Based on the manufacturer and based on the speakers and so on. My favorite, for example, is this one is the 4x12 AX. AX is the name of the manufacturer. GB is easy to remember. This is Greenback speaker. 56 is the SM50, very famous 66, and A, it is the variant of, because I don't know in details the position of the microphone and so on. So you have different variants. So please check all the variants. Take care that you have also the possibility, because if I select this version, the windows closed. If I wanted to let the windows open, it's pretty easy. Clicking on the pin, so I can select a different cabinet and test it without the the closing of the window. So I can select it. So you can hear really easy how different is the sound if I select the same cabinet with the same microphone, but with different variant. Variant means position of the microphone on the speakers. This is really important. And let me say that it is a really big difference that typically doesn't know by the analog guitar play, because the analog guitar play typically put the SM57 in front of the speaker and don't care about this because they feel the sound, they hear the sound by the amplifier. But you can see here, you can hear here the difference of the position of the difference of the sound by the position of the microphone. Change really a lot. So my favorite in this case is the A version. Okay, I give a name of this preset, MF test, okay, English, and I call this GCM 800, for example. Okay, then I save. Save means I save this configuration on scene number 1. Okay, I can now get the clean sound. The clean sound with the scene number 2. Okay, in this case I can change the channel, go to the channel B, and recall, for example, the typical double Verb normal. It is the typical Fender twin amp. Okay, let me check the sound. Again inside. Okay, now I call clean and save. So that means that I save the presets with the scene number 2. As you can see here, scene number 2 recall the channel B, scene number 1 recall the channel A. Scene number 2. Of course, this Fender is working with the cabinet. This cabinet is not the cabinet of Fender. If I wanted to change the cabinet also, I can select a different channel and select, for example, if I type double, I can have the overview of different kind of double Verb speaker. Let's check here. The sound is completely different. Okay, I can pick this one. So I also select different cabinet with different amps. So scene number 1. As you can see on the scene number 1 is I change simultaneously the block, the amp block, and also the cabinet. If you wanted to check this variation, you can also type on the block info and you can see which channel is related to the scene. For example, scene number 1 is channel A, scene number 2 is channel B for both block. Okay? Okay, let's go ahead. I can also create a channel with a delay. I can put the delay here. This is mono delay, but you can create, for example, stereo tape delay. That's nice. I can add the compressor. you can go to the quick build, or you can click on the square where I want to have the drive or the block. I can click on the right mouse button and select, for example, compressor. This one is nice, for example, the analog compressor. I can also add the chorus. I can add the chorus here, chorus, for example, here. Can recall different chorus. Save the scene, then come back to the scene number 1. Okay, and I have to switch off some block like the compressor. To switch off, you can go to here and bypass, or simply type on the bar space. And I can save. Problema linguistica, Jordi Clement. Sorry, I can only speak Italian and some bad English, nothing else. Sorry, I cannot speak Portuguese or something else. But as I mentioned in the beginning, you can activate the translation. Yes, this is the beta version. I'm in the beta tester, so I'm testing the 3.01 version. Well, so I can create, I need, for example, the lead channel. This, for example, I can create the GCM, but I call crunch, for example. And I wanted to create a lead channel. So I can also copy this scene. I go to the scene here and copy current scene to scene number 2, number 3, for example. And now when I select number 3, I have the exactly scene of number 1, the crunch, and I call lead. On the lead, for example, I like to add a drive, like a boost, to increase the gain. Typically the TS808. And I want also to activate the delay. And maybe I wanted to increase the volume. You have different possibility. The easier possibility is to go to the output, okay? Go to the scene level, and for example, to set the scene level trace, the lead, on 12.6. I use typical 20.6, or as you want, of course. So save the preset, and I saved also the status of the 3 scenes. So scene number 1, clean. Okay, so it's really easy to create your own presets. Of course, you have up to 8 scenes. You can also use the second amp. I want to show you some complex of my typical presets, like this one, where I use, for example, double amp. I have an amp for the rhythm part and the lead part, and I use a second amp for the clean. And also scene number 2. The rhythm part, the lead one. And all can also have this amazing effect. So this is the possibility to use different complex routing to create different scenes from the same preset. As you can see, I have already realized very nice videos where I can show the possibility, the explicitly you have to create several or infinite sounds of a single preset using the scenes, using the foot switch, and so on. Okay, these tones are wonderful. Thank you so much, Jonathan Barton. By the way, Jonathan, it is a matter of testing the unit to match the amp and the cabinet. In this case, for example, I use this cabinet is from Valhalla, but you can also use any kind of impulse responses, and as I said in the beginning, my knowledge is not from the digital model knowledge. My knowledge comes from the 80, 90 rigs, the Bot Brashard rigs, typical rigs from Mike Landau, Steve Lukather. That they use the same philosophy, and I only apply the same philosophy in the digital world. It's much more easier because I have all effects together in a single unit, and I also can create, as you can see here, very complex rig, very complex routing, parallel and serial, and so on and so on. Okay, I can show you some sound of these presets. If you have, in the meantime, if you have any question, please type your question. So that I am still in the same presets, the MF Europlex presets. I cannot go in the details of all the possibilities, but I split the tutorial. You can see also the tutorial on my playlist. If you have any question, please put the question below the video, and I will answer as soon as possible. Please, if you like this video, click on the like button, and if you want, subscribe to my YouTube channel or the G66 channel. So thank you so much. I wanted to play the last song. For example, this song could be nice. Why not? Okay, guys, thank you very much for your attention. Please, if you have any question, put the question below the video. if you want to click on the like, and please visit my website where you can find a lot of these tutorials, these videos, and so on. Okay, thank you so much, and see you. Have a nice weekend. Hi guys.